I think the problem we have at the moment is people are used to having things a certain type of way and overconsumption. I am inherently selfish as a human being and worried about many things. I'm a human. I have selfishness in my nature. But yes, I would say I'm inherently selfish sometimes in that decision.
So I'm going to ask you 5 would you rather questions.
Interesting.
And midway you're going to realize what the topic is. And maybe we can spark a bit of a conversation.
Okay.
Okay.
Let's do it.
So, would you rather be a cat or a dog?
Cat.
Okay. Is it because you like cats more? Or?
I feel like cats get more freedom.
I love that. I agree.
I do love dogs too, but I feel like with cat you can just leave the house and come back when you want to.
But would you rather be and not to have?
Yeah, I'd rather be a cat. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Would you rather be able to talk to animals or take one of their enhanced senses or capabilities?
Talk to animals.
Okay. Can I ask why?
Because I feel like rather than being someone that can do everything, it's better to just work with others that can do things and they can then do it better as I'm spreading myself across loads of things.
Oh, so you mean like to talk to animals to help?
Yeah, like if there's birds, I can be like, what's coming up ahead? Like I don't need to be the one that can see that.
Oh yeah, that's.
Or like you can just like all work together more if you can talk to them.
Oh, that's a good point. Okay. Would you rather have the intelligence of a dog or of a pig?
Oh. I know where it is going. I don't want to be like, oh, I'm worried. I don't know if the difference is that much. So I guess, but I'd say, dogs can learn tricks and stuff, but they're like feeding off your emotions, right? And they're domesticated, whereas pigs aren't domesticated.
Pigs are domesticated.
Oh, they are? Okay, right.
You can get pet pigs.
No, but just being like farmed animals means domesticated.
Yeah, true.
Pigs are way smarter than dogs.
Yeah, pigs are way smarter.
Pigs
Yeah.
are so
Yeah.
clever,
But he's a farmer, so I'll go for pigs.
Okay, you're a
He's
farmer. Okay. You want to play this?
We can join in.
Okay. Okay. This one, the next question is a bit harder.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's fine.
And maybe you can chime in.
If you want.
So, would you rather be a well-fed farm animal whose life is cut severely short whenever you need to go to the slaughterhouse, or a or a wild animal who's mostly starving, but you get to live life free and for as long as you want or as much as you can?
Yeah, defo free.
Free.
They're like a star.
Because
yeah.
you value freedom.
And they're starving, but that's what drives them to do the next kill, and then they chill out a bit, and then they're starving, so they have to hunt again. So I'd rather be a wild animal.
How about you? That you're a farmer.
Well, I grew up on a farm, not a farmer.
Ah, okay.
Oh yeah,
fair
I grew up.
I work in a hospital.
Ah, okay,
Yeah.
fair enough.
I would. I guess it depends which animal, because some animals really struggle when you watch like David Attenborough and stuff. So
I think you're also like blissfully like unaware the whole time you are like domesticated and being fed. So you're having a very good life in your eyes, even if it's not like you know from day one that you're potentially going to get murdered and stuff.
Yeah.
Because
But you do notice that some animals sometimes disappear. You don't know where they go, but right?
Yeah.
And there's still exploitation happening in a lot of farms, right?
yeah,
Yeah. And my final question is, if you could be a farm animal in today's world, which one would you be? A cow for dairy, a cow for milk? A cow for dairy, a cow for meat, a chicken, or a pig?
I think I'd be a meat cow.
A meat cow.
Yeah. I feel like dairy is, at least with a meat cow, you're eating, you're all together, you're doing your thing, and then at some point it happens.
Yeah.
But with the dairy, you're kept alive for it, and the others are cut short too. But I guess cows get the whole field, don't they?
So, like eggs get taken away. They're watching their children get taken away from them constantly.
That happens to like cows
chickens
too.
don't care about like them when they're eggs, when they're chicks. But like cows, like dairy cows, yeah, their babies get taken off them. But at least beef cows, like they get to raise their beef babies sometimes.
Yeah,
so that's
yeah,
all
depending on the farm. And then you get to like run around the field as well until your life is cut short. So
Yeah. I see you know what's happening in there.
Get selected bulls that come in and really do.
Yeah.
Oh, that's true.
The cream of the crop.
I mean, most of the times they're artificially impregnated. They're not.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so I think you can realize what the topic
Yeah,
is.
yeah, yeah.
I'm trying to raise awareness and have spark conversations with people about what's happening with the perspective of animals in today's world. Would you say that you consume animal products?
Yes.
Okay, and do you think we need to consume animal products to survive and thrive?
I don't think we need to. I think they are coming. I think the problem we have at the moment is people are used to having things a certain type of way and overconsumption. And it's easy to say, yeah, we're going to cut it. But a lot of people have to change a lot of habits very quickly. But what I am seeing is the alternatives are starting to come out and they're slowly making their way into the mainstream. I mean, even we've been here just like a day now. And
Yeah.
I noticed like we went to a place and they didn't really have any other options than like chicken. And there were a lot of vegan options and stuff here compared to like London. That's still like coming into, but it seems a bit more natural here, which is cool. So I think we're heading towards there, but we're definitely not there now. I understand there's a bit of a clock as well on it, but then people do just need to change habits. It's hard to like get a mass group of people to do that so quickly. Whereas
Okay.
that, how can effectively can you assist them in developing those habits?
Okay.
Yeah.
So you touched upon a couple of things there. Let me just take it one by one. So first of all, if we don't need to, you agree that we don't need to consume animal products,
Yes.
right? That means that every time we do, we make a conscious choice to consume an animal
Exactly.
product, right? And given that there's animal suffering behind the animal product,
Yes.
wouldn't you say it's a cruel choice to make?
I would say that. But then I'd say if you've been brought up a certain way and you're used to a certain
Yeah.
lifestyle, people, as much as
You.
that is a big
I want to
issue.
talk about you, not
Okay,
people. I'm sorry.
me
Wait,
specifically,
Yeah.
I am inherently selfish as a human being and worried about many things. And that is definitely a cause that I will worry about. But then I'm also worrying about like how much stress I'm under at work this week. And then maybe in the evening when I want to decide something to eat, maybe that won't be the first thing that comes to my mind. So it's how can I naturally adopt these habits? And I think government through policy and things can assist me as a conscious buyer to things. Supermarkets and like restaurants that have certain menu types that can make it more appealing to me, can make it easier for me to do that. I myself, like, I went on the farm and I saw it and I thought like it's good to see this stuff. And I do follow, can't remember the Instagram which one it is, but like they always have really like severe savage things.
Yeah, yeah.
But I force myself to see it because I'm like I should see it.
Yeah.
But I think there's a lot of people who would rather just not and acknowledge it's there. So we grew up in like an Indian household and we had a lot of vegan food naturally.
Yeah.
Like it's sort of lentils and like stuff. So I'm tapping more into cooking like that because it makes it easier to have that too. But yes, I would say I'm inherently selfish sometimes in that decision. And I'm just trying to develop that habit. So there's just things that can make it easier because I'm one person with a big system as well, right?
Yeah. So
And I can make a change, but I appreciate, yeah.
So as far as I understand, it's your problem is convenience, right? That's what you're
Yeah.
saying. It's a bit inconvenient to do it, and I agree with you. It is a problem nowadays. It's because we live in a non-vegan world. Obviously, there's very few vegans, so the world is slowly changing, as you also mentioned. But it's still the convenience of it. It's still, let's say, not as much as you want it to, right? But what if I told you that convenience is not such a big issue once you turn vegan? Because let's say when you cook now in a supermarket or whenever you cook when you cook your products at home or whatever you eat, you normally go for kind of the same things, right? On a weekly basis, let's assume. So that would mean that turning vegan would just be like a 30-day thing where you learn which products you want to buy,
Exactly. Yes,
and then
yes,
you
that's true.
slowly go for each of them, right? And then so if you understand this and you understand it's kind of a habitual change, and I want to ask you, do you think like this habit or this because you call it selfish, I don't think it's necessarily selfish. I think it's more of
Nature.
yeah, you need a bit of an incentive, right, to
Yes.
go vegan. So what will incentivize you to go vegan? Like what would say, okay, I don't want to contribute anymore to animal suffering? And like just because I understand it's a
So-
process, right?
I actually have an interesting take on this in that I think part of it can be the people that you're around, right?
Yeah.
I'm about to move into a new flat in a few months with one of my really good friends who is vegan. And I've actually said to them, literally yesterday, I'm looking forward to living with you because being around you, living that vegan lifestyle in my kitchen will make it way easier for me to be like, I'm joining in with you on that. Let's do meals together, seeing the things he's eating, buying similar things.
Yeah.
So I think incentivizing is the people you're around. And if people have those, are they willing to share that knowledge with you and help you like, oh, that one meal a week, why don't we try this thing as well?
Yeah.
Right? So I think instead of having a hard line, you should be doing this because of this, it could be a, okay, are you open to being educated? And if so, how can we slowly change that habit together? As you said, I could just go cold turkey and do
Yeah.
it for January,
Yeah.
but again, I'm looking at other things. I just know me, that's not a priority, even though I know it's happening. And I know that's awful to say.
Yeah. No, I appreciate your
I think
honesty.
about other things as well, you know, like
Yeah.
I want to go to the gym on time. I want to get my protein in. I want to like,
And I appreciate
Yeah.
your honesty fully, and I understand what your problem is, but you do still make this choice
I
every
do.
time you eat, right? So every
Yes.
time you eat, you still have to make a choice between a product that an animal has to go through these cruel practices and then a product that doesn't, right? So it is when you make this choice. It's not necessarily always a matter of availability within your fridge, let's say, or
Yeah,
within
I
your house,
agree.
right? And sometimes it's also about going to the supermarket and buying a new product and finding out what works, right?
But for
So-
instance, I stopped drinking normal milk and moved to other alternatives.
Yeah.
I've tried tofu products in my cooking sometimes instead of chicken.
yeah.
I've started, even though fish is also its own story,
Yeah.
I have tapped more into eating fish and stuff. Sometimes I'll try and have more like sweet potatoes or something instead of something. Aubergine, I'm using more. So I would say I am someone, I'm not saying I'm perfect yet, but I have been trying to like add it in and see where I can make replacements.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't really have beef or lamb a lot personally. So I'm not so like only animal products myself. Actually, I cook without a
So-
lot of the time too, but I still do have them sometimes. Well, most of the time, half the time, yeah.
So first of all, the fact that you're aware of it and you are trying, it's excellent. It's already a good thing, right? Let me just put it this way: what's happening in the animal industry? Would you call it an injustice towards the animals?
Yes.
Okay, so if we were to take the same approach to a different injustice, like let's say a man is beating their wife 7 times per day, and then we say the man says, "Okay, I will slowly stop beating my wife. I will only beat my wife 3 times per day this week, twice per day. It's more convenient for me to just beat her a couple of times." Would you say that's a good approach to take to this injustice?
No, but then I would compare it back to I'm a human. I have selfishness in my nature. Animals can't speak. It's very easy to ignore that because I don't have to hear it.
Yeah.
Right?
So it's a
even
disconnect.
if people are speaking to me from their perspective, I'm not speaking to that animal, which is one of your first few questions.
Yeah.
That comes to selfishness, which I am aware of.
So it's
And-
merely a disconnect, as far as I understand. You're
Yeah.
disconnected from the whole thing.
Exactly.
That's not a fair comparative either, because in our society it's ingrained that beating your wife is not a right thing to do, whereas eating meat is heavily ingrained in our society, especially we come from the UK. Meat is a very big thing in our diet, but us being Indian also, meat isn't a big thing.
Yeah, it's
So
like a
I'm very much more vegetarian than
She
my
is.
brother is,
Yeah.
and I actively avoid meat because, quite frankly, I can't eat it. I don't like it.
Okay.
And I only really eat meat if we go out somewhere and then the vegetarian options are trash. So then I'll eat the meat just because I know I can get it down.
But if it were, let's say, if it were dog meat, and the only thing in
Yeah.
the menu would be dog meat, would you still have it?
Probably not.
If I could chew it and it would go down, probably. Like,
Yeah.
You probably not, and you probably.
Yeah.
like
Different.
I'm just
yeah.
picky with like how meat is with the texture. So if I could chew it and it's fine and it goes down, I don't think I'd be that adverse.
Okay. What if it
you're
were?
eating meat? You shouldn't be like, oh, I'm not going to eat this meat because it's a dog and that dogs are our pets. Like, they're all equal in that nature if you're already going to eat them.
That's true. That's true. So at least you're consistent. Would you eat a human being? If the only thing in the menu would be human meat. I don't know. It's people who died natural causes. They're okay. They gave consent or whatever.
But I'd also add, this isn't to like take it away. We are, the name's gone out of my head. We're not a carnivore. We're not herbivore. We're an omnivore.
Yeah.
And we do have a taste for it. Now, how we get the meat could be the question. There is lots of scientific research being done in can we have lab produced meat, which
Yeah.
is equivalent, but you're not actually raising an animal to
Yeah, yeah,
get
yeah.
there. Which, will it taste as good? Will it not? Who knows? In 20 years' time, you might be able to click a button and it produces a steak for you in your kitchen.
Yeah.
So there, you're not killing an animal to do it. Maybe you're using energy instead. But I guess there is that element of us being an omnivore. How can we say that? Because we could just change to a herbivore because we don't need it anymore.
Yeah, we don't.
But there's a reason why we like it. There's a reason why we've always eaten it. And our ancestors ate it when they first started going out. There's a reason why farming started. And it wasn't always done on a mass scale that was unhealthy.
Yeah.
They looked after their animals, they liked their animals. And when it was the time for the animal, it wasn't done always in the most horrific way because they had that level there. But obviously now the overconsumption and stuff has become this much darker way of doing it.
Well, if you ask me, the fact that it's nowadays unnecessary, there is no good way to killing an animal if they,
Yeah.
because no animal wants to die, right? So,
Exactly.
So,
But if we know I know I like chicken because I've eaten chicken.
because you like
for
the taste,
20,
let's say, right?
6-7 years. So if I knew I could get chicken that tasted like that, but an animal didn't need to die for that, then I still get my chicken that I like the taste of, that I can like season and it can take in all my flavors in my curry. But an animal didn't need to die for it. And that's what I guess would be a good. We could still eat meat one day, maybe without it being like this. Maybe just saying we're going to cut it out would be difficult because people do like the taste of it. And we have so much culture and dishes that revolve around these products that even though we don't need it, you are cutting off a lot of culture in a lot of places through no longer having it too, right?
So you mentioned two things there: taste and culture.
Mhm.
I'll just take it one by one. Let's say I'll take culture because I think that's the easiest and the quickest to discuss. And
We have about like 5 minutes. and then our friends are
that's
waiting
okay.
for us.
Okay, so
But yeah, I'm
thank you for
loving this.
stopping. So
Yeah.
culturally speaking, there's places in the world where there's female genitalia mutilation being done, right?
Exactly, yes.
So I would just that's obviously immoral, right?
Yeah.
You would agree with me on that. But so then that just tells me that we shouldn't derive our morals based on culture, right? Culture is something that is just ingrained in our society from depending in the past, and we shouldn't just accept it as is, but we should always question it, and we should. That doesn't mean we should remove traditions, but rather just adapt the traditions.
I
to
think when
a
I say
better way.
culture and tradition, I don't mean it's cultural to kill the animal. I mean the recipes and meals that have been created and have gone down generations and evolved have their own stories behind them, and like people love those foods for those foods. Like the curries that we eat, a chicken curry does not taste like a lamb curry, does not taste like a sweet potato curry.
Yeah.
There is nuances to it.
Yeah.
I love that flavor. I've grown up with eating those dishes with my family, and like one chicken could have been raised in an ideal world really well and got to a point where, yes, we cut its life short. That's really sad. Maybe it could have lived like 5 years longer than it did from when we cut it. But if it was done in a humane way, we still got that experience. It's not like we were torturing that chicken to that point, which is being done now on mass scale. But I'm saying it didn't always have to start that way. That's not how it started.
I cannot ignore that though. You say it's a humane way. Is there a humane way of killing?
There is. There's like euthanasia for humans if they're ready to die.
Yeah, but
So
the
there
animal-
is equivocally.
Of killing an
It's
animal
not
that
the
doesn't
same.
want to die. Let's put
That's
it
true.
this way.
They don't want to die, but there is a humane way to kill as well.
Do you know what humane means? It's because it means with compassion. And
Yes.
do you
So
think there's a compassionate way to kill somebody?
yes. As I
That
said, if
doesn't
they
wanna die.
want to die,
There's somebody that does not want
if
to
they
die.
don't
Okay.
want to die, but they've been made to, you could still do it in a way that doesn't make it as harmful or like painful to them, which to me is still humane, even if they don't want to.
So what you're
So
saying?
I would say there is actually.
So what you're saying is that there is a less bad way.
There's a
worse-
less bad way, which is closer towards.
Yeah.
Okay, there's a lesser evil, which is
But it's
closer
still an
towards humane, but it's not humane.
No,
There
but
you
it's
go.
still an evil, right? Because the most humane way would be to not kill that animal
I'd
in the
say
first place,
that's
right?
subjective to, I don't know. If somebody was on trial for something really bad, and we don't do that here, but like in America or whatever, they have to die. You could kill that person in a way that's more humane where they won't feel the pain,
Yeah, yeah.
feel torture. So that's where I'm coming from.
I mean,
Yes, it's an
If
injustice.
you
They
make,
have
like,
to.
euthanasia that we do to animals, like racehorses, and like just when you're at the vets and stuff, when you know the animals aren't going to be in too much pain, it's still the animals don't want to die, but we make the decision to, with our compassion, that they're going to live a life way worse than if they're alive.
Or like
Yeah,
dogs,
yeah,
when you
I
have
understand
dogs
that,
who are ready because they need to be put down, then you kind of have to sometimes. You
but
know,
the case isn't that, right? Like most
There
of the
isn't.
animals that we kill are animals that could live on nice, that they could,
I know,
they
but
don't
your
want to die.
question is
It's
about humanely doing euthanasia.
yeah. I mean, I'm merely saying, is there a way to kill an animal for food, an animal that doesn't want to die, an animal that is healthy in a
It's true.
humane way?
But we also live in a world where some of these animals, we have way more of them in the world than naturally would have been
Yeah.
for our consumption. So
Yeah.
actually, if we were not killing them now and let them all out, we'd have way more in the ecosystem that should be there. So they actually don't belong here to that scale.
Well,
So they kind of,
if more
they would naturally die off because animals would feed on them themselves and that numbers would re-regulate. But I guess those animals are there to die, which is unfortunate to say, but they
yeah, but as the world, if the world would slowly turn more vegan, as you notice
They
is
would
happening, they
come
would
back
just
to-
they would just not be bred into existence, right?
So I think the main thing is people, because we got to go now.
Yeah,
'cause
yeah.
They are waiting for us. But we've got like, people should make a conscious effort to see where they can make changes. I
Yeah.
agree with that.
Yeah.
I think governments and stuff should put more things in place to enable their societies to work together rather than individuals who like have the spark and do it, but then the rest are not. Like, can we help everyone do it together?
But let me just, I'm sorry, because you got to go, and I need.
Yeah, that's
I
good.
need
Yeah,
to
yeah, you
give
end
your
it.
concern. So the problem with relying on the government to do something about it, and you eventually doing something, is that the system that food works, the way the system that the food is created and we buy it is a supply and demand system.
Yes, exactly.
So that means that if we as human beings demand for more meat will be provided. The same with vegan products, right? There's one. And two, let's say governments could come in and say, could incentivize us and say, vegan products are now cheaper. Vegan products are now cheaper. Meat is expensive. A government cannot possibly do that if most of the people prefer meat, right?
I agree.
So there still is a responsibility nowadays for individuals to try to make.
There definitely is. I'm
right?
saying that's where your personal. That's why I said it's in two parts.
Yeah.
There's the individual.
Yeah.
Who should be open to learning and making choices to move towards something because
Yeah.
they see the value in it.
Yeah.
On the other side, when I bring in government, I'd say there's a lot of lobbying that goes on
There
to
is.
also keep things how they are. So yes,
A
it
lot
is
of
supply
it,
and
yes.
demand, but also they're not being like the tobacco industry. Everything's like vapes are all over the place now,
Yeah.
right? The cigarette industry is still there,
Yeah.
right? Because they're still lobbying for it and they know it's bad for us. So that's something where I think public is changing its mind, but it's still so around. So I'd say it's the same with meat. I'd say yes, the government, it is supply and demand, but I wouldn't say these companies aren't forcing their way in too. So I think it is both still.
Yeah, it's both.
Hand in hand.
There's obviously a thing that governments can do about it.
Yeah.
But the thing is that
We need to also
people need
show
to have
them
a
we
demand.
want it.
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly. Because it's nowadays there's less than 3% people are vegan. So that means that there's not that much demand for alternative products, right? So
But I've seen a big change over the last few years, even
Yeah.
though like the aisles are getting bigger and
Yeah,
stuff. So I think
UK
we are
is the most
slowly
friendly,
moving that.
vegan friendly
So
country.
yeah. But anyway,
Okay, can
thank
I give
you
you a
for-
card before you go?
go for it.
Yeah. So.
Oh, we got the same gloves.
Yeah, we got this. I noticed that we said the same gloves. Yeah.
These are my ski gloves.
Yeah. So if you go on this website, we the free. They also do activism in London.
Awesome.
Okay. Yeah. So I'm not I sometimes do activism with them. Right now, I'm not with them. Just putting it out there.
That's
So
okay.
if you go on this website right here, it says 3 movies. WTF. You'll find resources on how to be vegan. If you want, there's the Challenge 22. Which, if you subscribe to them, they send you recipes every day on how to be vegan. Maybe that's something that you would be interested in. And there's also personalized help. Somebody will log in with you online and say, if you have difficulty being vegan,
It's like
somebody.
an AA meeting, but for being vegan.
It's funny because the friend we're literally going
Yeah.
to, he is vegan.
Yeah. Oh, that's
And
perfect.
he's the one I'm moving in with, the one I told you
Yeah,
about.
yeah.
He literally doesn't.
Yeah.
So like, if he was here, it would have been funny to have him in the conversation.
Yeah, that
too,
would
but
be
he
a good
wasn't.
conversation
Someone
to
who's,
have.
like,
Yeah.
very much vegetarian, a meat eater, and a vegan all in
Yeah.
one.
But anyway, thank you for the
Yeah,
card.
thank you for conversation.
Have a good day.
Yeah, just keep in mind that there's victims on the other side of these choices, right? And 3 times per day you make a choice, and one person going vegan, you can save up to 100 animals per year, depending on how many animal products you consume. Obviously, most of that is chicken and fish.
Yeah.
So you could save a lot of animal lives, and even if you save only one, like if you spare them the death, it's still something, right? It's to them, it's something. So
I agree.
yeah.
Yes, yes, yes.
Just
I
try to
agree,
be a bit more connected. The whole thing about being vegan is not about not eating meat or any of it. It's about not contributing to animal abuse and slaughter and exploitation. So it's all about the animals. We're just, it's an animal rights movement,
Yes.
nothing more,
I
right?
see that.
Yeah. So keep in mind that the animals. Well, if you were in their shoes, what would you want them? What
Thank
would you want
you.
them to say, right? Yeah.
Have a good day.
What's your name again? I'm sorry.
Karen.
Karen. Nice to meet you, Karen.
Nice to
Thank
meet
you. Have a good day.